So let's bring in Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu right now. Mr. Prime Minister, thanks so much for the time. First off, we've been seeing the funeral of the Ayatollah, who was killed in the initial strikes of the battle in Operation Epic Fury. What is your takeaway from the turnout and the fact that it was attended by Saudi Arabia, Oman, as well as Qatar? They sent delegations.
Look, Iran is a nation of about 90 million. About 80% of them hate this regime and would like to see it gone. But you still have, quite a few million, a minority that they can bring to the streets. And what do they shout in the streets? I don't know if you heard this, Brian. They were shouting, death to Trump, death to me, of course, but death to Trump. We have to kill Trump. Death to America. This is what is the face of this minority that has taken over, hijacked this talented people, the Iranian people, the people who fight for freedom, have been massacred on the streets for freedom. So I think that if the Iranian people were given a chance, they'd throw these bums out. And I think we have to recognize that. They are not America's friend. And we should not let them have nuclear weapons or the means to deliver them, both to us, but also to you. That's very, very dangerous. So this is a battle of freedom versus fanaticism, and the fanaticism can be seen on the streets of Iran. As far as the countries that go there, well, I think there's sort of a kind of a betting on hedging bets, but I think most people understand that the positive force for good, including the countries that went there, the positive force for good, for security and prosperity, we're your model ally. And we respect the United States of America. And if you come to Israel, it is the one nation here in this region that is not only a democracy, but a democracy in which the overwhelming majority of the people unabashedly support the United States of America. So my relationship with the president is fine, and we have a way of ironing out our differences as allies who respect each other.
So what do you look to accomplish? I hear you're coming to visit. What do you expect to accomplish with the president?
Well, we haven't yet set a date for the visit, but I'd like to see the peace with Lebanon advance, just as we advanced together, President Trump and I, the Abraham Accords, which brought 4 peace agreements that nobody believed were possible. We brought them together. And I think that the fact that we basically hammered the Iranian regime, we've weakened it substantially, and that opens up the path for some other peace deals. That's what I'd like to advance. The other thing I'd like to say, because we're on the verge of the president's going to Turkey, look, Turkey is a great country, but it's governed by a man who calls openly for the annihilation of Israel. He occupies half of Cyprus, a NATO country. He's threatening Greece, another NATO country. And he talks openly about conquering Jerusalem. His foreign minister, his number 2, said that the Jewish state hasn't a place among humanity. Basically, it has to be wiped out. His interior minister, said he looks forward to be the governor of Jerusalem. Well, for a regime infected by the Muslim Brotherhood, an extreme movement that hates America and chants death to America from that side of the spectrum, I don't think they should be given F-35s or the engines for
them an opportunity to plot and plan against it. And lastly, they're also financing Hamas, and you guys know that. So they might have helped, but they're financing Hamas, right?
They finance Hamas, they harbor Hamas, they roll out the red carpet for Hamas. They're in fact supporting the bad guys. And they didn't lift a finger to help you in Iran. We did. We're the model ally that fought next to your great soldiers. There is, I think, as Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, said, these are the 2 fighting allies. And I think it's a remarkable partnership. Do we have some disagreements from time to time? Yeah, sure. But we work them out because we're allies. And we share not only common interests, we share common values. America has been the defender of freedom for 250 years, and Israel appreciates that because we're a free, independent country.
And Mr. Prime Minister, you do know this country very well. You went to college here. Thanks so much for all you do. I appreciate this alliance, and thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much.
So President Trump is heading off to Turkey tonight for the NATO summit, where he's expected to encourage allies to step up their support to end the conflict with Iran.
All right, Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst joins us live from Tel Aviv with the latest. Hey, Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. Right now, there are hundreds of thousands of Iranians in the streets of Tehran marking the funeral for the late Supreme Leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei. This event is scheduled to end on July 9th and has included international delegations from countries like Oman and Saudi Arabia. Many of the attendees chanted death to America as they demonstrated, but there was no appearance from Iran's new Supreme Leader, Mustafa Khamenei. With the ceasefire ongoing, there are questions about this 60-day window with President Trump.
We see eye to eye on just about everything. And sometimes, as happens among the best of allies, and we are the best of allies, there can be differences of opinion. We usually speak about it in open conversation. We're allies, and we share not only common interests, we share common values. America has been the defender of freedom for 250 years, and Israel appreciates that because we're a free, independent country.
In an interview over the weekend, President Trump said, "We get along very good. Netanyahu knows who the boss is." Reports do indicate the Israeli prime minister could visit Washington as soon as late this week to meet with President Trump at the White House, although the prime minister told Fox and Friends that no date was set yet. Over the weekend, the Israelis launched a few strikes and did some shelling against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. Another Israeli strike was conducted against Hamas in Gaza, but largely the region has stayed quiet as the ceasefire holds. This month will be critical to see how the Iranians enter into these technical talks with the United States. During this 60-day window, the Trump administration has made clear again and again Iran will never have a path to a nuclear weapon. Guys?
Yeah, that's one thing they do agree on with Israel. So that's pretty clear. Thanks so much, Trey. Appreciate it. Let's bring in former Trump Deputy Security Advisor KT McFarland with tremendous foreign policy experience and contacts. So this is going to be a different tone to NATO. What do you think the president wants out of this?
He wants two things. He wants the NATO allies to step up with their defense investment, to commit to spend more money on their national security and to commit to make things in Europe to increase their defense industrial base. The second thing he's going to want is them to agree that he was right on Iran and that we're going to spend 5% of our GNP on defense. They don't have a defense industrial base. It's going to take them a decade to do that. And the Europeans blame President Trump for the Iran war. I don't see the European leaders telling President Trump the Iran war was good, the Iran war was successful. On the contrary, I think they're going to tell President Trump, Israel is terrible. We think Israel's the aggressor. You launched an illegal war against Iran. So I don't think this is going to be a happy meeting for anybody.
KT, on the second part of that, if our European allies were to step up and help us, what difference would they make at this point? Walk us through that.
They wouldn't make a whole lot of difference militarily in the Iran war. I mean, Britain has some minesweepers, for example, that would be useful. Other countries contribute a little of this, a little of that. But most of our alliances that are going to make a difference in the Middle East are from the Gulf Arab allies that we have, that President Trump has formed into this Abraham Accords coalition, and increasingly is doing security connections with them with regard to the Middle East and with regard to Iran. So Europe, it's going to be more of an attitudinal thing of, what do they think of President Trump? Or are they going to try to trash talk President Trump? The problem with the Europeans is they can't go it alone. They may say, oh, well, United States, you need to spend much more time and much more attention and much more effort on Ukraine. Forget about the Middle East. Ukraine is the important one. And if you don't, well, we're going to complain about it. But the Europeans on their own, they just have taken such a different track from the United States. They have these huge welfare states. They have cut back on their defense. And it's very hard to see how they could ever go it alone.
KT, one of the things that I've been seeing across social media, Prime Minister told Brian earlier in the show.
Turkey is a great country, but it's governed by a man who calls openly for the annihilation of Israel. He occupies half of Cyprus, a NATO country. He's threatening Greece, another NATO country. And he talks openly about conquering Jerusalem. They finance Hamas. They harbor Hamas. They roll out the red carpet for Hamas. They're, in fact, supporting the bad guys. And they didn't lift a finger to help you in Iran. We did. We're the model ally that fought next to your great soldiers.
What did you make of that, KT?
Israel and Turkey have had a funny relationship over decades. Sometimes they're really great friends. Right now, they're not very great friends. And as you heard the Prime Minister say, and clearly President Erdogan of Turkey said very negative things about Israel over the years. But on the other hand, President Trump gets along with Erdogan. Erdogan's a tough guy. I mean, I've been in a room with him, and he's one of the most frightening guys I've ever met. He's just tough. And so President Trump can deal with him, knows he needs him to try to make an expanded peace in the Middle East. Erdogan and Turkey are key to that. And Erdogan and Turkey are key to a strong NATO alliance. So I think President Trump's done a really good job of walking that tough line between them and not balancing on one hand pro-Israel and the other hand pro-Turkey. So he's done a great job.
Yeah, just don't sell them the F-300 and the F-35s because they have Russian missiles.
Murdoch and launched on October 7, 1996. Leadership: Roger Ailes served as the founding CEO. The current CEO of Fox News Media is Suzanne Scott, and Lachlan Murdoch serves as the CEO of its parent company, Fox Corporation. Positioning: from its inception, the network was designed to provide an alternative perspective to what the founders perceived as a liberal bias in mainstream media. It famously used the slogan "fair and balanced" for many years. Programming: the network offers a mix of news reporting and opinion-based talk shows, with high-profile personalities often driving its influence and ratings. Cultural and political impact. Audience: Fox News is consistently one of the most watched cable news networks in the United States. It has a strongly conservative viewership base, though it maintains a large and diverse audience. Influence: it is frequently cited as a major force in shaping American political discourse. Academic and media research often highlights the network's significant role in mobilizing conservative voters and influencing the Republican Party. criticism. The network has faced long-standing criticism regarding its editorial bias, the accuracy of some of its reporting, and its close ties to the Republican political establishment. In 2023, the network reached a major $787.5 million settlement with Dominion Voting Systems regarding false claims aired about the company's voting machines following the 2020 presidential election. Reach and ownership, parent company. It is a subsidiary of the Fox Corporation. Media ecosystem. Beyond its flagship TV channel, the brand includes Fox Business, Fox News Digital, Fox News Audio, and the streaming service Fox Nation. Availability. It is available in millions of households across the United States and provides international broadcasting through various platforms. Are you looking for information on a specific show, host, or a particular news event covered by